1923, I demonstrated a complete electronic picture transmission. We were hoping, of course, only that by television we can see the things which is impossible to see normally with our eye. Something which was too far, too close, too dangerous, or too impossible to see it all. Television can do it. Television can do it. Of course, when we improved the transmission, then we tried more and more complex picture. Here is one in 1920 about was close-up of the Felix the cat. When I first started to work with television, I never dreamed what power it could have and how it would reach out to so many people in so many ways. That I never dreamed.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, distinguished members of the Congress, honored guests, and fellow citizens, I come before you to report on the state of our union, and I'm pleased to report that after 4 years of united effort, the American people have brought forth a nation renewed, stronger, freer, and more secure than before. I hope.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, this is Fort Worth, Texas.
You're on the air, sir.
Television for a living, and
We didn't hear your beginning. What do you do for a living, sir?
television for a living.
I didn't hear you again, sir. Say it again.
Yes, this is Fort Worth, Texas.
You're on the air, sir.
Television for a living, and
We didn't hear your beginning. What do you do for a living, sir?
television for a living.
I didn't hear you again, sir. Say it again.
I sell television for a living.
Thank you.
Yes, I sell.
Sets, you mean, or time?
Of course, I can't understand you.
You sell television sets or do you sell time?
I sell television sets.
You have a
If you had a chance to live your life like you wanted to, would you take it? Just one chance. Just one chance. Just one chance.
Let's go back to what the world was like at the end of World War II. The United States was the only undamaged industrial power in the world. Our military power was at its peak, and we alone had the atomic weapon. Any potential enemy was deterred from aggression because the cost would have far outweighed the gain. As the Soviets' power grew, we still managed to maintain the peace. The United States had established a system of alliances with NATO as the centerpiece. In addition, we grew even more respected as a world leader with a strong economy and deeply held moral values. And for at least 30 years after World War II, the United States still continued to possess a large military advantage over the Soviet Union.
The PTI TV network is carrying out a master plan for people that love.
What do we mean when we speak of nuclear deterrence? Certainly we don't want such weapons for their own sake. We don't desire excessive forces of what some people have called overkill. It still takes weapons to prevent war. 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 We desire excessive forces of what some people have called overkill. In these modern times, 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 modern
A new car! A new car!
nation's military objective has always been to maintain peace by preventing war.
This nation's military objective has always been to maintain peace by preventing war. And most important of all, it's worked for nearly 40 years. What do we mean when we speak of nuclear deterrence?
The Trident submarine then becomes an instrument which is capable of dropping more bombs than all of the navies of all of the wars in the history of the world.
Unless we stop Trident and other weapon systems like it, there will be nuclear war before the decade's out, in my opinion.
I don't like war any better than anybody else, but I think we have to be ready, and if the Trident submarine is the decision on the part of the people who make policy decisions for the Defense Department, is the way we ought to go, then I am willing to be a citizen and offer my support to the Bangor Base and the men who work.
Is that 50-50?
We control everything that this radar does.
I just wanted to say I'm against nuclear power, and I'm for defense, American defense. I just wanted to say there's other ways than nuclear warheads. You can come up with something different. You can come up with something to stop the bombs before they hit. I just wanted to say there's other ways than nuclear warheads. You can come up with something different. You can come up with something to stop the bombs before they hit.
I believe this country needs a strong defense, and I believe that might include nuclear power, but I think there are better ways to spend over $10 billion.
To people who don't agree with the believe is un-American, and to the women who said about serving my country, I have served my country. I'm against the Trident submarine, and it's not defense, it's a doomsday machine.
What's shown here is both sides being irrational and radical. We need to take a rational approach, look at our local government, start from there, and work up, and we'll have negotiations.
I'm sure the nuclear freeze campaign in this area will welcome your help.
Running out of time. Running out of time. Running out of time.
Right now we're talking about a two-party war. The United States and Russia, so very shortly other countries are going to join in this thing, and it's going to be mayhem.
Proliferation is one of the gravest dangers, and can we expect proliferation is one of the gravest dangers?
A little bit scary. It doesn't mean we pretend it's not a possibility and we don't deal with it. In the last decade, the Russians have deployed more than 250 multiple warhead SS-20s, and they have developed a whole new generation of strategic vessels.
I don't know why we're so afraid of the Russians. Don't you think the mothers and fathers of Russia are just as concerned about their children? And it's political hoi polloi.
I would just like to say this. I am in the military. I have 24 years and 6 months. I have a wife of 30 years sitting there. I have 3 children and also have a grandchild. And I want her to know this, that when she sleeps at night, that Trident is out there. That's your future. That's your safeguard.
People that are left after the first strike, how long are they going to last?
We now are like the White House or security blanket. Without that, we're like the White House without any protection.
I'm a teacher and I'm all for not having any kind of protection because we need children to not. The idea that children's going to protect us.
Some life is better than no life at all. Some life is better than no life at all. I happen to feel that way. I want some life is better than...
If you win that, looks like a scouring powder, but doesn't scratch like one. No little cinnamon gum freshens both longer than big red.